to propose one last question, realistically. What do each of you view as the actual legalities of this said mandate imposed by OSHA coming down from the executive branch?
It's only legal if somebody enforces it. First of all, it's not a law. It's a mandate, and a mandate made by a president. It's not passed by any legislative body whatsoever. Every single mandate throughout this past year, where there's shutdowns and there's masks, you have to wear a mask and all that.
You go back more than a year.
That is not a law. I mean, yeah, you can go back more than a year. None of these are laws. The problem is that there's people willing to enforce the law. These mandates. I don't want to say enforce the law. They're enforcing these mandates. And by the way, there's laws that are in place that they are not enforcing. They're enforcing a mandate over laws.
So, kind of like, I assume you're talking about looting?
I mean, that's definitely one of them.
But it's not
and the problem is, even if they get
discussion for another day.
Even if they get arrested for the looting, they're not going to be prosecuted by the attorney generals of those states.
Unless you're looting the Capitol building.
Well, those people, personally, in my opinion,
or defacing property.
Yeah, those people, in my personal opinion, are political prisoners. They are not. They may have broken the law, but there's people in other places and doing the same things to federal buildings that have not been subjected to the kinds of things that these people...
The same consequence, you'd say?
Right.
And, on top of that, swift consequence?
Right. And they're still talking about it. They're going to do it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars to do some off-the-wall investigation in Congress.
Your tax dollars hard at work.
Right. It's a waste of time, a waste of money. Everybody knows that they're political prisoners. This country is going way down the wrong path, in my personal opinion, and it's not a winning path for anybody.
Strong words coming from a veteran who served.
2 tours?
2 different tours, yes.
Well, 3 tours in 2 different countries, correct?
2 tours in 2 different countries.
Oh, two for 2. Sorry. My apologies. What are your opinions on that?
My opinions on this are that, okay, so you have laws that we have to abide by, right? These laws are basically to keep you in line. But here's the line. You draw the line. You draw the line where you have to abide by these laws if you live in this country, right? But crossing the line is telling people to do something with their body that they do not wish to do, right? I'll go this X amount of speed on this road, or you understand.
It's more or less like a social contract kind of thing, though.
Yeah,
to an extent, it is enforceable by local.
Yeah, but it's understandable to an extent. You may not agree with it, but it's understandable. It's not impeding on your body in any way.
Right.
What they're doing with this mandate is, and I believe 100% is unconstitutional. You can't tell people to do something with their body that they do not wish to do. That's going down a dark path that we don't want to do in this country. The whole reason why our forefathers came here and made the country what it was, keyword what it was, in the past, is because they seen dictatorship and tyranny, and we're slowly going down that path as they push control on all of us.
What do you see as the difference between, let's say, obviously there's a difference. Shooting, putting a jab in your arm as compared to putting a computer chip in your body. How thin is that line?
Well, you don't have to put the computer chip.
Right.
You don't have to put the computer chip. It's not pushed on you.
No, but in the future, you're breaking lines. They're slowly breaking lines.
Right. Yeah. Slowly breaking lines. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I 100% agree with what you just said. This, the whole mandate thing, this is kind of being forced upon people.
Right.
And this is my entire problem with it, because, there is this little document called the Bill of Rights. Correct?
Right.
Correct. Do we all know what the First Amendment in the Bill of Rights is?
Please explain.
It is basically the freedom to express yourself in a public opinion, and also freedom from religious persecution. So basically, anyone out there that has a problem with this, all they need to say is, it's against my religion.
And
whether you have one or not.
They're trying to suffocate that at this point in time. You realize, like, it was okay at the beginning. Now all of a sudden, it's not okay with this mandate. It doesn't matter what you believe in.
Well, did it not only also become not okay as soon as the mandate thing, started coming around?
Yeah. They're obviously trying to squeeze your neck a little bit more and more to follow what they believe in, and that's not what this country was founded on.
The first right you had constitutionally that's been eroded was the freedom of
speech.
Well, it was the privacy.
It's speech. I mean, I
firearms. Where are we going to go? We're going to go down every one of them because they're trying to attack the ball.
But
yes, and speech is one.
Speech, expression, religion, and what was the other thing I said?
It's the search and seizure.
That's four.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm headed for. The search and seizure, where now they can listen in on your phone calls anytime they want, and they say they aren't, but they have this power because.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like a Patriot Act thing.
Right. Well, I mean, at the same time, that is the first one that they almost completely have eroded.
Which also, just for clarification purposes, the Patriot Act has been initiated for 20 plus years.
Right.
You believe that?
And I think it's permanent. I don't think it's going anywhere.
No. Yeah, I mean, how else are they going to, impose, control on people?
Yeah.
Unless they can weed out the individuals that they don't like.
Right.
Or that are saying stuff that actually possibly makes sense. And could possibly get the rest of the populace behind them.
This may be controversial. What I'm about to say is, so Rome back in the day figured out that whipping your slaves and physically abusing your slaves was worse than letting them feel like they had freedom. They had freedom of choice. And I think that our country implemented those strategies because Rome was one of the longest standing fucking...
It's kind of like revealing the mask, right?
Right, but you want to control their mind. You want them to feel like they are the ones deciding their future when really you're
manipulating in the background.
Everything that they're doing, right? And Rome did that really well back in the day. And they didn't have internet. Like, these motherfuckers, the United States, even like China and all the superpowers do the same things.
Yeah.
Okay.
You control the mind, you control the populace. You don't have to physically beat people.
The problem is people are waking up to that, too. People are definitely waking up to that.
I agree, but that also poses a separate question is, where do these social medias land on this? Obviously, we all know that most of them are, fairly compliant with most of the stuff that's going on. If there are anyone, or if there are any social media platforms that are non-compliant, they just get shut down. Like,
right.
At a ridiculous amount of speed. As soon as they say, or something is on there that doesn't go with the narrative.
I think they do the things that the social media companies are doing, the things that they have to do to survive, because I don't think they really... I think in some instances they do have control of the things that they can favor, but I think that the federal government, through different organizations, including the FBI, the CIA, the IRS, will use whatever tactics they can and have to control even the corporations.